Welcome to Guzzler.
Right, hello and welcome to Guzzler Extra. This is Marvel Mondays, so I mean, who cares? So, WandaVision's finished.
Like it.
Falcon Winter Soldier starts next week. So this week we're in the void, the marvelous void.
Yes.
Not the Century Void, like the actual void. So we decided we were going to read House of M, written by Brian Michael Bendis in 2005.
Guzzler Extra.
You boys read it?
Yep.
I know you did, and I know you read it before me. I read it like 20 minutes ago. So.
Imagine if we both turned up and just went, nope.
Nah, no. Never read it, mate. Never heard of it.
Oh, that's what we were doing. Have you read it before now, Alfie?
So,
or is this the first time you've read it?
I've never read House of M.
Okay, alright.
I've never ever read House of M before. Obviously, I know what happens in House of M,
Yeah.
and I've read most of the comics preceding it and most of the comics afterwards, but I've never read House
Just
of M.
that gap in the middle, no.
Yeah, just couldn't be bothered,
Yeah.
mate. Just thought, nah, not for me.
And we read this because it's what WandaVision was loosely based off of.
Yeah, kind of, I guess. Although I think now we've read it, we sort of realise, not really.
Not at all.
Yeah, not at all.
I think a lot of the theories were based around
House of
House
M, maybe
of M,
so,
but
yeah.
realistically, the show. I think that the show more realistically was based off of sort of. So there's a series called Behold the Vision in West Coast Avengers. It's sort of more based off of sort of that. And then like there's a Scarlet Witch Vision series by Steve Englehart. There's loads of stuff we could have read.
Yes.
That I'd argue, and obviously Vision by Tom King, which you've read recently.
Vision by Tom King is one of one of my favourite comics I've ever read.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I'd argue this is more based off of than.
House of M.
Yeah.
But it's a big event, and we read it. So the first thing I actually want to talk about is preceding this, and sort of the big event that seeds this storyline is Avengers Disassembled,
Yes.
which I haven't read in years. Now you read it recently.
Yeah, so I read it
didn't you?
again years ago, probably about 7 or 8 years ago, and I read it about 5 weeks ago.
You fill us in, bruv. I've thrown this at you, but what happens in Avengers Disassembled? I know roughly,
So,
but I haven't read it in years.
They're all basically Avengers house, and things just start going wrong. Vision comes down, and he sort of self-destructs and turns into lots of different Ultrons who try to kill the Avengers. Hawkeye gets killed. She-Hulk just turns into like just evil Hulk, basically. She just turns mad and just starts killing people. And Tony just turns into a massive arsehole, and they basically decide against using him in like the UN and stuff like that. It's all breaking apart, and they're unsure why. And then they sort of wake up one day, and the Avengers, or the superheroes who aren't mutants, don't particularly have any power, and they're being hunted down, while all the mutants and exo-mutants are on the rise. And Magneto is running the world under what he calls House of M. And even he's not really aware of it, but it's because basically Wanda, Scarlet Witch, she went mad because her children died, and she put it down to blame of Avengers and things like that. So she basically created this world where it was just the House of M, right?
Yeah. So like preceding this, like Avengers Disassembled and stuff, Scarlet Witch went a bit mental.
Yeah. I realised I
people.
started
Like
talking about House of M then as well, but
No, that's fine.
I was trying. That's why I paused. I was like bridging the gap. Basically, they go mental, and then I stopped at the Tony
It
Stark
all
bit.
flows into each other,
Yeah,
right?
it does, it literally does just flow straight into each other. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It's like Clint Barton died, some other people died.
they went mad and
God,
they
'cause
broke apart. Yeah, and then when they wake
I've been
up,
reading. I've been reading New Avengers, which takes place directly after Avengers Disassembled. So basically, so Scarlet Witch loses control of her powers, blows up the mansion, kills Hawkeye,
Yep.
and then she ends up with Magneto in Nova Scotia.
Yeah,
is
so
it?
she flees to Genosha.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
Genosha, whatever it's called, but yeah.
And then she's with Professor X, and she's almost created this little reality around her where she's about to have children. And then Professor X wakes her up and is like, "Nah, this isn't real."
Yeah.
And then the Avengers decide, or they go into a meeting where they're like, it might be time to like kill her because she's too powerful and she's just messing up reality now. Quicksilver loses his shit and then convinces Wanda to make the House of M.
Yeah. So I think that Disassembled is a very good comic. I think that House of M. Not a lot happens in House of M, I don't think.
Nah,
I loved it. I thought it was
No,
brilliant.
I like
it's
it,
an interesting story.
but I don't think.
I thought it was amazing. I think it. I think though that like a lot of it hinges on like having a strong understanding and relation to the characters.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, you've got to. Be
But
able
I'm
to,
sure you do. But like seeing Peter Parker with Gwen Stacy
Yeah, exactly.
and Ben
That's
alive
obviously
and him having a
big
son,
thing.
and like
And Logan.
seeing Luke Cage not be with Jessica Jones at all and just be like, what on earth's going on?
Yeah.
And like just seeing these characters in a different sphere,
Yeah,
even if it's brief, is quite interesting.
Logan with Misty.
It's almost
and
like
stuff like that. I think that's cool. And oh my god, what is her name?
Yeah, and like Cyclops being married to
Emma Frost, exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
And stuff like that.
Weird.
It's almost like a weird episode of What If.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is one of the few times where another reality has been like for this period when House of M was a thing. This was the Marvel universe, if you know what I mean. This was the current canonical Marvel universe. Not for long, but it also happened in sort of Age of Apocalypse in like the 1990s when Marvel were like, this is the current reality. So after this event, they've designated this as Earth 58163. So like this universe, obviously all of the universes exist in the multiverse.
Yeah.
But like this universe is still a thing where Peter has Gwen and a son and Uncle Ben are back and all that sort
Where
of
did
stuff.
they get these numbers from?
Not a clue, mate.
Right.
No
Five,
idea. I
eight,
mean,
one-
616, the main Marvel
616.
universe, must come from somewhere.
Yeah.
But
What is this? 8163.
this
Yeah.
one,
When you
58163.
Oh, sorry, 58613 must be what's that one? It's
58163.
mad stuff.
It's a big number.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's a big number.
So
But yeah, I was surprised just how many characters they just like bombarded us with throughout this.
yeah, it's I did like that these alternative things were happening and stuff. It is an element of nostalgia, especially like I read quite a lot of comics. It is quite that. It is like that. I like that the different. I don't know where it's going in their lives at the time. I like that. Especially Peter Parker's one. That's a very good one.
Yeah, and he goes
Yeah, he
mental.
does, yeah.
And he gets really like angry.
What are the main similarities then between this and WandaVision?
WandaVision.
What did this carry for apart from the fact that she went mental and created this reality?
Nothing.
That's it, innit?
Absolutely,
Not a lot,
nothing.
really, mate.
That's
Be honest
that
with
is
you.
it. That is it.
The thing is, the thing I did notice is in House of M, the whole point of it is that she gives everyone their dream
Yeah.
or what they actually wanted. She reads their subconscious and gives them what they actually wanted. And in the show, she kind of says the same thing, like it was meant to be that way for all the people in Westview. She tried to give them what they wanted,
That's a good. That's good. Yeah, good parallel actually.
but it was
Because in
it was
this as
actually
well, like they got their dreams, but in like Peter Parker got his dream, but once he's seen his actual life, there's like a massive conflict there, right?
yeah, and
'Cause he
it,
loves
it,
MJ and he's married to MJ, but realistically, she was second choice. Like
Yeah.
he was with Gwen until she got murdered by Green Goblin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's
and
like-
just because I'm a bit of a fanboy, Sentry in the House of M, she doesn't give him his dream. She just turns him into a psycho. She just makes him absolutely mental and sends him to a therapist.
Maybe that's his dream.
yeah. But
That's what you want. But the thing is like a lot of people didn't like. I found that the whole dream thing weird because a lot of people still weren't happy in this universe because you can't really give everyone their dream.
No.
Like, as soon as you've given Magneto his dream and you have Homo superiors be the predominant race on Earth, you've already crushed loads of other dreams.
yeah, exactly. Like Margot Robbie would be married to
Like Stryker.
10,000 people.
yeah, exactly. Because like Stryker appears in this, and he's from like
Yeah.
the X-Men films. He's the one that hates mutants and messes around with Wolverine and stuff. Like you can't make him happy and make Magneto happy.
Yeah, exactly.
That is literally impossible. But it's interesting. So Wolverine has his memories in this,
Yeah.
right? And he's like the catalyst for saving everything. And that's because his dream was to be able to remember his whole past.
Okay.
Like all he's ever wanted is to be able to remember everything. So that's what he got given in her world.
That's very good. Yeah.
That makes
I mean, it's
sense,
written
actually.
very, very clever. It is awesome, and I think it would have been actually sick to do an actual House of M as an Avengers film.
Storyline.
Yeah, as like an Infinity
See, that's
War
the thing, like,
Endgame
we're saying this-
two-parter.
Yeah, like not much has happened based off of WandaVision, but there's a lot of things here that could.
Yeah, you need
Could
a lot of
be
characters
viral,
and stuff.
yeah.
It'd have to be like and it probably couldn't happen for like another 15 years, but it would be sick to do that.
The thing is, though, this happens because Wanda loses control of her powers. At the end of WandaVision, we find out that she is very much in control of her powers and learning how to control them even more. So the possibility of this occurring in this way is quite unlikely at this point. Though. Unless they find a way to spin it, but that's.
And they've already shown that like her grief just sort of makes her powers do their own thing anyway. I know they show having more control, but that doesn't mean that her subconscious control would stop and her grief would still. But the problem is you'd have to tell another grief storyline then, and we have had a grief storyline, so they probably would have to.
I think that
they probably would have to spin it.
I know we didn't say necessarily we was going to read this one, but I think that in Tom King's Vision series, there's lots of similarities in that because obviously the dog which is killed by Agnes,
Sparky,
is in that and dies and etc. And it's called Sparky and all that, and just the idea that Vision is living a life of a family. That's I would love to see that actually as a Disney Plus series. That exact Vision series as a Disney Plus series.
I don't think they couldn't do it now within the.
No, they couldn't. Could they? But I would love. But the thing with that, it wouldn't need to be particularly in continuity, would it? Because it could be. I know they couldn't do it now, so they've basically done it. But they could just do like a spin-off thing, couldn't they? It would be sick just to have that. Not even necessarily link into it. Just the idea that like this could be Vision's life. But they can't.
I mean, they've got a What If now,
exactly,
so they could probably do whatever they
want. But it would be cool to do like
animated, but
8-part series of Tom King's Vision because it was just genius.
The other interesting thing to mention, just a parallel with the MCU, is at the end of this, Hawkeye's clothes are like strung up and he's like stabbed through it and stuff. And then after these events, he sort of comes back to the MCU, right? It's like Ronin.
Yeah. So before that, so this is in New Avengers because you get like 10 issues in, and then Hawkeye's just there. He just turns up at Doctor Strange. And he's like, I don't know what happened. And Strange was like, you died. He's like, I'm here. So he goes, I need closure. I need to go and find Wanda.
Yeah.
Ends up finding her. He shags her. And then he just turns up back at the Avengers ready for Civil War.
Closure.
And then he becomes Ronin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So big closure on his part.
So why is
and then after Civil War, he ends up leading the New Avengers, right?
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
I don't know if you've got that far. Spoilers. He does.
Great. Cheers. I'm at Secret Wars.
Yeah. He ends up running the Avengers. So he's back. He's just back, which is weird. And he wasn't dead for very long.
Why is Professor X dead in House of M?
I don't really know what happened to Professor X, to be honest with you. He sort of just disappeared, right?
Yeah.
He sort of just vanished. I haven't really looked into it. Another weird thing that missing. So in Cloak's in this, yeah. I really like Cloak. I love Cloak. And I want him.
Oh, is that the guy that teleports?
Yeah, he literally just opens his cloak and people just like vanish.
He's part of Cloak and Dagger, but there's no Dagger.
Yeah, but Dagger's not in this. And Cloak and Dagger are always together.
That's got Olivia. The TV show was alright.
Was it?
Yeah, there is a TV show.
They made it Cloak and Dagger.
I haven't seen the TV show, but there is a TV show.
It's quite good.
But yeah, I have no idea why Dagger's not in it. And I googled it, and she's just not in it.
I did wonder that when I was reading it.
But like, it is an alternate reality.
Yeah.
So like, you could throw it away in loads of different ways.
This is obviously 684321, isn't it?
58163.
58163. What a stupid number. Ridiculous.
I don't know if they've ever explored this Earth again. I don't know, but it's weird that. So normally in alternate reality stuff, Spider-Man has a daughter in quite a few, and there's quite a few realities where Peter Parker has a daughter, but it's quite rare for him to have a son. So I thought that was strange. I think there's one recently where he has a son, but I'd never seen it before. This is the first time I've ever seen him have a son.
I think, isn't it?
He always has a daughter called like May, I think.
Sorry.
He always has a daughter called, I think her name's May.
Say, because he has this attachment to the fact that he loses the women in his life, isn't it? So like, he has a daughter.
But yeah, normally he's depicted as having a daughter.
Having a daughter, cause it's like the thing he needs to hold on to. He's got to protect that woman, that girl, female.
Yeah. So yeah, she says no more mutants. The famous line.
Yes.
And then the mutants don't die.
No.
they just
lose their
aren't
powers.
mutants anymore. They just lose their powers. Yeah, which is strange.
Yeah, and then someone tries to give them it back in New Avengers.
Yeah, and in the current X-Men universe, this is described as like the biggest mutant massacre of all time. But whether it is or not, I mean, they're still alive. But you know what I mean.
When they're looking at the thing in Xavier's like the globe thing, how many mutants there are left in the world?
Cerebro.
Yeah, there are 2 red dots on that.
Yeah.
Well, there are still a few mutants, right?
Yeah.
Because like Wolverine kept his powers, and Cyclops did, and Emma did.
So basically, as long as you know the X-Men, you keep your powers. You're fine.
Magneto lost his powers though. It was implied. Another thing was implied as well. So there's the young girl in this, right? Who's kept her memories, and she has the power of like bringing back people's subconsciouses. But obviously, she doesn't know how to do it, so she has to work in synergy with sort of Emma Frost.
Yeah.
But it is implied that Wanda planted that girl.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, there's a line of dialogue, I can't remember what it said, but someone says to her, like, no, Doctor Strange says to Wanda, you made that girl have this ability to get us out of this reality. So it's implied that even though Wanda made it, she gave them an out.
There is that thing, isn't there?
Something in her subconscious was good.
Yeah. Often when people do something wrong, or they make like a cataclysmic thing, often they leave like a key for it to be turned back around. It's quite a famous thing in literature that there has to be something in order for something bad to happen. There's always like something small, which it would make sense to why that girl is like, she is the key to be able to eventually turn something around.
Cool. I don't even know what else to say.
I don't know what else to say. The conclusion is that it had nothing to do with WandaVision.
Nothing to do with WandaVision. I enjoyed it though.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well.
I thought it was good.
I did enjoy it.
I like seeing there's loads of characters appeared in this. Kitty Pryde's in it. She-Hulk's in it. It's quite nice, but it wasn't massively to do with WandaVision.
So there's a new Falcon and Winter Soldier comic out, isn't there? Newish, came out end of last year. Well, it's new then, because we're only 3 months into this year. And obviously that starts next Friday, so it'll be this Friday actually. So we'll be talking about that next Monday. And I know we briefly also mentioned this last week. What are we expecting? What do you think's going to come up?
I mean, I've seen some reactions to it already, and apparently it's really good. I've just heard it's really, really good.
Something you can watch on Disney Plus if anyone needs like a recap on this stuff. They've got a series called Marvel Legends. They're only about 6-minute episodes, but they just recap all the main events of each of the so not each of the characters, but the main characters in it. So they've done Wanda and Vision, and in this series they've got obviously Winter Soldier, Falcon, Peggy, and oh my god, what's his name? Zemo as well.
Zemo, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I think
I don't really know what to expect.
I think that they might have Steve Rogers in it. Now the reason for that, I don't think he's going to be like a main character in that, or even necessarily a cameo, but I think that he might be in visions of Falcon's mind, or in like a dream of past things that we just have has never been put in the series, like in any of the films before it, but just like a past event as to why Falcon thinks that he can be in it. Because they said that they were going to bring Chris Evans back, and it was nothing else happened. So I was wondering if maybe they just put him into this series as like as a memory or something, as a way that Falcon's trying to have self-belief in himself.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Wouldn't feel. I'd be fine with that. I wouldn't feel cheap to me. They'd just see more of the MCU in the past.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's fine. I'd be fine with that.
And I think that it'd be made to look like it was a scene from around the time of like Civil War or something, but it just wasn't in the film previously, so it just looks like
exactly. Like it'd feel like just a cut thing.
Exactly. But I do think that like for Falcon to become aware of the fact that he is capable enough of being Cap, I think that he needs. I don't know. I feel like at the end of Endgame, where he's like, oh, it doesn't feel right. He goes, it is, and that's the last thing he says to him, and he just leaves. I think that it would need something that, like, you are worthy of this.
See, I'm still on the fence about Falcon being Cap. I was talking to you boys about this. I'd still prefer it to be Winter Soldier, but I'm not bothered either way.
I was happy with either.
Yeah, I was happy with either. I think it would have been cool if it was Winter Soldier, but I'm happy that it's Falcon. I think Falcon's got like we did say that Bucky's got a past and he's got things
blood on his hands. But I thought the fact of him taking the mantle would be like his work or his life's work about trying to scrub the red off the ledger.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. But I think if he gave it to Bucky and was like, "Here you go," he'd go, "Sick! I've known you for nearly 100 years. This is great." And then he would just take it and just leave and just think that he is the best. But I think Falcon's never thought that he is the best. So I think Falcon has something to prove. He thinks that I think that Cap giving it to him is for him to show that he is worthy of something.
To be fair, just before Secret Wars, actually in Civil War, it's like the same as what happened in this Civil War, where he goes to find Falcon, and Falcon's like, "But you ignore me every time. I'm here for you to help, and then I don't hear from you." So I guess it kind of works.
Yeah, I think at the end of the series we're just going to end up with him accepting the Captain America mantle.
And he's going to be a strong Captain
and then
America.
maybe he'll wear like a Cap costume. I really like his Cap costume from the comics, where he has his wings and he's dressed as Captain America.
I think that
I really like that costume.
That's got to be the end of this, because in the next time Falcon is in the MCU films, he's going to be Captain
If you've
America.
missed the series, you'll just see he's Captain America. That makes sense.
And he's just a cool character.
Exactly.
When the series will make you go find out he's worth it or not. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm hoping we see the introduction of like
Mephisto.
smaller ancillary characters. No, smaller and ancillary characters.
Right, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like setting up things like Secret Invasion, an odd little series, and he's gone. Yeah. So
He's back.
setting up things like that.
Yeah, I'm happy with them to introduce. Like I said, as long as it's part of the story, I don't care who they introduce. They can introduce whoever they want. As long as it's part of the story, I don't care.
I agree,
Fine by me.
Yeah. It'd be weird if they brought in like Jack of Hearts or something now. Just some weird.
Yeah,
like,
just pops up.
60s or 70s.
Gambit.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I think that's fine.
But they said Batroc the Leaper's in this. I really like Batroc.
Yeah.
He appeared at the start of Civil War. As
He's on the ship,
sort of
isn't he?
throwaway character, but I actually really like him. But we'll have to see how they do him in this.
Exactly. Yeah, just look forward to that. And that'll be next Monday.
Yeah, boys.
Brill.
Thank you for listening to this Guzzler podcast.